you're just excited about what you're doing. People can feel the energy from you, whether you're in person or even on the phone. If you're not excited about what you're doing, why in the world should somebody else be excited as well? Follow the system. Follow the system. You will be going through an emotional roller coaster. Don't make your highs too high and your lows too low. Some will, some won't, some wait. So what next? Everybody, go get this book. Your First Year in Network Marketing by Mark Yarnell. I haven't read this in about a year. It's time for me to read it again. But I have read it about 7 times. Your First Year in Network Marketing by Mark Yarnell. This will shave 6 months off your learning curve if you're brand new. It's going to prepare you for what you're going to deal with. This is a people business, which means you have to deal with people. And I hate to say it, but people are crazy. Not everybody thinks like you. Not everybody's going to see the same thing you see. Not everybody's going to be excited at what you're excited about. Not everybody's personality is the same. They're all different. People are going to say no to you more often than yes. So you don't get too upset. I had another person, well, I'm going to quit because people said no. Of course people said no. If everybody said yes, there wouldn't be an opportunity. People are going to say no. Some will, some won't. So what? Move on to the next. Focus on the people who say yes. Bill Britt just passed away. The second highest money earner in the world in network marketing. 81 years old. Or 80 something. I think he had made about $150 something million in his network marketing career. And he said, you know, in my career, I've personally enrolled over 1,000 people in business. And out of those 1,000 people, about 150 people actually did anything. Out of those 150 people, about 50 to 75 became leaders. And out of those 50 to 75, about 6 or 7 became little Bill Britts. He said, I made all my money off of probably 6 or 7 people. How many people did he have to go through? Over 1,000. And if he signed up 1,000, how many people said no? That meant he probably had to talk to 30 or 40,000 people to get 1,000. Before the days of internet and Facebook. Do you think he was committed? Do you think he worried about who said no? All he looked at was his goal. $150 million. Will I go through all these no's to earn $150 million? Most people's answer is no. Now they may say yes, but they're not. No, it's not. Of course you're going to say yes. But they're not going to do it. And you only talk to 2 or 3 people? I had one person tell me, Brandon, I'm quitting. It's not working. I only have one person on the team. Really? I haven't seen you on a webinar since the day you signed up. You mean I got to get on more webinars? I already went on one. Isn't it the same information? Isn't it the same information when you go to church on Sunday? You still go, don't you? Isn't it the same kiss when you kiss your wife? You still kiss her, don't you? I haven't seen you on any trainings. It's never enough. You're always learning. Always learning. Yeah, I went there, Angel. It doesn't stop. And I said, I haven't seen you. Where have you been? Oh, I was busy. Busy being broke, huh? Nah, I just had to take care of things. Okay. You haven't put anybody on 3-way calls with me? No. How many people did you put on a webinar? 1. How many people signed up? 1. So you're batting 1,000. You're 1 for 1. And you're going to quit? You know, in baseball, If you hit the ball 4 times out of 10, you will make it into the Hall of Fame, and they will pay you at least $4 million a year. If you can hit the baseball 4 times out of 10. If you can hit it 3 times out of 10, you make it to the major leagues. 4 times out of 10, you're an all-star. That meant you struck out 6 and 7 times. Struck out. And they pay you $4 million. People look at the success Michael Jordan's had. Do you realize he's failed far more? It took him 7 years to win his first title. You kidding me? Oh, you think Jay-Z has it good? And by no means am I a Jay-Z fan. But I appreciate greatness and success. He hustled. Puff Daddy, you may not like him. He hustled. Toby Keith, he hustled. The difference. They put in work. You see them on stage. You don't see what they had to do to get there. That's what you have to do. Now, I'm not a Jay-Z fan for a lot of reasons. But that man is worth $500 million. He did something right. And when you listen to his story, you watch the interview of him and Warren Buffett. You couldn't be two opposite ends of the spectrum between Warren Buffett and Jay-Z. But their story is the same. Their philosophy towards success is the same. I'll give you another example of another guy. Cedric Harris. You might have known him. One of the top producers in a company called Visalis. I said Cedric Harris. Look him up. He's all over Facebook. And he went from selling drugs, white cocaine powder, 3-time felon, to selling white Visalis 90-day challenge shakes and is a multi-millionaire. He's a hustler. The principles of success are the same no matter what you do. You ever watched the movie The Secret, which is only a watered-down version of the truth? But even Oprah Winfrey said, you know, I do that stuff. I just didn't know there was a name to it. I didn't know it was a secret. All successful people do this stuff. Go and get the book, The Science of Getting Rich. Oh, yeah, that one. The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. But an easier read for you for getting started out is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill spent like 40 years of his life researching and interviewing all the world's wealthiest people at the turn of the century last century. And finding out what their secret was. And they all ended up, no matter what industry they were in, no matter what their profession was, the principles were always the same. Now, B says that's a great book. Let me tell you something. It's a watered-down version of the truth. It is only a preview of the truth. The secret is not okay, I'm going to go a little deep on you here. Those in the know, who's who of this world, the people with real power, only allow certain information out to the public. They teach their children differently than we teach our children. They have private libraries with different knowledge that we don't have in our own libraries. And their private libraries is in their own home. They've passed down information from century to century that is only for the privileged. And when Napoleon Hill did his work, he spilled all the secrets and all the guts. I know, Greg. You never know who's watching. And when he spilled his guts, Henry Ford and crew pulled the book off the shelf. He had to rewrite it and water it down. There's one word in that book, and I'm going to leave it at this. That is what got them all upset. There's one word: vibration. I'll let you do your own research on that. I wish I had more time. That Napoleon Hill discovered. And then he let it public, and they had to shut that off. That's right, Mr. Washington. The Law of Success in 15 Lessons. And there's like 9 versions of that. It's a rare find if you can find the original. That really gets into it a little bit. But Earl Nightingale, Napoleon Hill, Wallace D. Wattles, all the way up to the modern day guys you know now, from Jim Rohn to Tony Robbins to I'm looking right at Bob Proctor. They know this stuff. Anyways, let me keep it going. I won't go too deep on you. Let's talk about the personality traits. Character quadrant. When you're speaking to people out there, you need to understand that not everybody thinks as you. The one flaw in human character when dealing with other people is the belief that we think everybody else thinks like us. This is a communication flaw. Even especially in writing, especially when somebody puts something in writing, you can't tell their emotion. You can't tell their inflection on what they're saying or how they mean it. You're reading it as if how you would say it. That is a major issue why people can't get along writing and always miscommunication. But when you're talking to people, you must know that they have different personality traits. And everybody has at least 4 dominant traits. You're one of these dominant traits. Shark, whale, dolphin, and urchin. Some companies use colors. This is how I was taught. Fish. Now, an average or a well-rounded person has all of these traits. But no matter who you are, you have a dominant trait. Let's talk about the sharks. That is a good book. Let's talk about the sharks. Sharks are driven by money and respect, power, loyalty. They're driven by recognition. When they walk into a room, they want everybody to know that they are in the room, that they are the power. The party doesn't start till they're here. These are the sharks. If you know or if you are a shark, write the name down in the chat box. If you are a shark or if you know somebody who's a shark, write their name down in the chat box. Doesn't matter if it's in business, in the entertainment industry, politicians, sharks. Think about what professions sharks are in. How about lawyers? Certain politicians, right? CEOs of companies. You know, some of the top stars on basketball teams. Michael Jordan, he's a deadly shark. Kobe Bryant. Sharks. Even LeBron James, who I also don't like, but I recognize greatness and respect it. Peyton Manning, shark. Then you have the whales. Whales are motivated by helping other people. What's interesting is Peyton's brother Eli is a whale, and Peyton is a shark. Think about that. But whales are motivated by helping other people. Now I don't like LeBron James. But I'm not a hater. He's one of the greatest basketball players to ever live. He has character flaws like many of us have, but his talent is undeniable. But whales, think about professions that whales are in. Nurses, doctors, teachers, people involved in church, nonprofit organizations, even some politicians. If you are a whale or you know somebody who's a whale, type their name in the chat box. Oprah was a shark that turned into a whale that turned back into a shark again. There's a reason why that happened. Then you have dolphins. Dolphins love to have fun. They're motivated by having as much fun as possible. If they are making a lot of money and not having fun, they will stop what they're doing and go do something else. If they are broke but having a lot of fun, they're happy. My sister, when I first came into network marketing, was a dolphin. She was 17 years old. And I was getting dressed one night and getting ready to go out to a meeting. And she was like, "Where are you going?" I said, "To go into a meeting." "Can I come?" "Yeah, come on." She got dressed. She came on down. And when we walked into the room, and I showed you the guy, Byron Nelson, at the beginning. His office was at the Westin Hotel on Century Boulevard in L.A., right across the street from the airport, every Thursday night. And the doors open. You hear music playing. There's a bunch of people with clothes, with suits on. They're suited and booted, smiling, with a drink in their hand. And I'm not talking about a drink. I'm talking about a cup of water. You put a cup of water in somebody's hand and watch how quickly they loosen up. That's a hint for those of you that have meetings. Put something in somebody's hand. That'll loosen them up. And they're hugging each other and they're smiling. And here's that word again, the vibration of the room was on a whole nother level. It's not like when you walk into a job. Ain't nobody trying to hug anybody on your job. Nobody trying to, talk good about other people on your job. Nobody cares about you on the job. It's a dog-eat-dog world on your job. But in this room, everybody was cheering for everybody. And my sister felt it immediately. And all she saw was a bunch of men looking good with nice suits on, talking about making money and talking about traveling to another city for a convention. She was sold without ever hearing or understanding what the business was all about. She just told me, "I'm in. Where do I sign up?" And then she brought all her girlfriends. In fact, her group ended up being one of my largest organizations. I used to call them the Ivey's Angels. Our team, we were part of a team with Sam Orm and Montrell Jackson called Global Telecommunications and Utilities, called GTU. Whenever we had a convention, they loved it when I came to town with my sister and the girls because they were the party. Everybody wanted to go out to dinner with us. Everybody wanted to go out. Oh yeah, back then we went to the clubs after the convention. Or we had our own, dinner or whatever, social. But the moment she wasn't having fun, she was on to something else. Unfortunately, most adults, they're not dominated by dolphin because reality hits. They have bills to pay, right? They can't afford to have fun. But you still got dolphin in you. If you are a dolphin or if you know someone who is a dolphin, type their name in the chat box. Then you have the urchins. And I cannot stand urchins. They are the bane of my existence. They take up 99% of my time. I've got an urchin right now blowing my text up. When I told him, get on the training, no, he's blowing my text up as I speak, asking me 1,000,001 questions. Does that mean urchins are wrong? No, they're not. They're legitimate. See, an urchin is the type of person who says, I'm a professional. I need to know all the answers to these questions. And how can you ask me to go out there and talk to people about this business if I don't even know what's going on myself? Hold on, Ray Dean. I'm about to make your feelings sound real good in a second. You're going to feel good in a second. But urchins are legitimate. They say, I just can't sign up with something without knowing what's going on. What's the social security number of the owner? Where was he born? How long has the company been around? What's the zip code? How does the company make money? Is there a meeting in Tacoma, Washington? I don't know. See, urchins ask questions most of the time just because they feel the need to ask questions. They can't sign up with something that's like going to a car lot and purchasing a car and you don't ask no questions about the car. See, urchins are a necessity as well. I am the opposite of urchin. Me, I figure it out as I go. If it looks good enough, I'm going to make it happen. And then I figure it out. Urchins are scared to death to do that. Oh no, their name's on the line. Their reputation's on the line. The problem with urchins is it just takes them too doggone long to make a decision and start to do anything. Here's the good news about urchins, though. Once an urchin gets all their questions answered and they're satisfied, and they decide to finally pull the trigger 6 months later, urchins end up turning into sharks. And urchins end up making more money than everybody else, and urchins end up staying in the business longer than anybody else and being the most loyal. Why? Because they are 100% confident in what they do. They recruited themselves. I understand, Bede. Go do your thing. We're almost at the end right now anyway. And this is being recorded. I got to figure out how to upload a 2-hour training. But I will. But this is what urchins become sharks. And here's another thing about them. When somebody else approaches them about another company, they laugh at them. Say, are you crazy? Did you take a look at this company? Do you see what Vitel's doing? You must be silly thinking I'm going to join a startup company where nobody's been paid yet because I can be a founder. Have you lost your freaking mind? You need to look at this. The grass is not greener somewhere else for an urchin. So it's okay to be an urchin. It's okay to be any of these. Why am I telling you this? Because you must understand what motivating people. These are the people you're going to talk to. What problem most people make, or the mistake people make, is they talk to people as their own dominant trait. So if you're dominated as a shark, you talk to everybody about your business like you're a shark. Can you realize how much money you can make with this? You can make $3,000 in a week. You have that conversation with a whale. You just turn them off. They don't want to hear a word you have to say. They're not motivated by money. If you go to a shark talking about how many people you can help, I don't want to hear that. I can help people doing anything. Let me become rich, then I can help people. It's like me first type deal. You go to a dolphin talking about how much money you're going to make. So anybody having any fun? I can make money working a job too. That's what my dad tells me. Go get a job so I can make money. That's not no fun. Dolphins don't want to hear that. And an urchin is going to say, show me the numbers. Show me the facts. Show me the proof. That's why I say your first 30 to 60 days is the most important, because you can go to an urchin and show them results. And if you don't have a great 60 days, use someone else's story. Use PTM, Power Team Marketing story. You know what our story is? First week in business, we put 40 people in. First 30 days, we put 137. First 60 days, we put in 507. First 80 days, we put in 1,000. First 6 months, we have 15 national sales executives and 3 regional vice presidents. We're the largest and fastest growing team in the company. That's your story until you can create one for yourself. I hope you got that. That's very important right there. You be confident in what you're saying. So now when you're talking to people, it only takes 30 seconds. It only takes me 10 seconds to figure out what somebody's personality trait is. If I said it too fast, Angel, that's why you got to keep coming back to the training, because I'll say it over and over again. But here's the deal. When you talk to somebody, ask them questions. Don't approach somebody talking about, hey, are you open to making some extra money? You want to save some money on your cell phone? You want to be able to have a company that pays your bills? No. People's natural reaction will always be no. No matter what it is you have to say, no matter what company you're promoting. Talk to them. Hey, let me ask you a question. What do you do for a living? And it doesn't matter what they say. You know what my response is? Wow, that is fantastic. Congratulations. I know you're doing very well. Two things will happen. Either they will go along with the lie, because we both know they're not doing very well. Statistically, they're not. So we can both keep the lie alive. Yeah, I'm doing great. Yeah. But you know what people always do? Well, I'm not doing that great. People will tell you all their business. Just shut up and let them talk. Wow, that's what you're doing? How long have you been doing that? Great, I know you're having a lot of success. No, not really. Well, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? That's great, that's great. Human nature is, when you ask questions, they will always turn around and ask questions, almost the same question back to you. Yeah, well, so what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm self-employed. Oh, wow. What does that mean? I don't work a job. Well, how are you living? I still make 5 figures a month. How are you making 5 figures a month and you're not working a job? Oh, I have my own home-based business. It's going great. See, people like to buy, they don't like to be sold. But by listening to what they tell you, what they do, you can pick up what their personality trait is. So when you eventually do start talking about your business, you know how to approach them. You talk to a well, you say this, you tell a well this. We are helping so many people here. You know, what's the number one reason why people are working a job? They got to pay bills. And they can't pay their bills. They can't afford to pay their bills. We have a company that is actually paying people's bills. Can you imagine that? Somebody that's in your church right now and they're asking for help because they got laid off, and you're able to go up to them and say, hey, listen, how would you like it if this company will pay your cell phone bill, your electricity bill, your cable bill, your internet bill? How about even in the business? How about the company will give you a $750 check so that you can drive a car? How about that? Stop that repossession. You have a whale's attention. You go to a shark. You know what you tell a shark? How would you like to make $10,000 a month with just 500 people on your team? What? Say that again? Yeah, I said 500 people on your team with 3 customers each is $10,000 a month. How would you like to make $1,000 a month with just 50 people on your team? You have a shark's attention. Better yet, what did we just launch? The Diamond Package? How would you like to make $3,900 in your first week in business by just enrolling 9 Diamond members? Everybody loves the trios, right? Well, hey, instead of getting a $60 phone bill paid for getting 3 trios, how about getting $3,900 bonus for the first week because you got 3 trios? How about that? Do you think you have a shark's attention? Yes, that would have got my attention, and I'm a shark. You go to an urchin, how would you like to hear about a business that over the last 6 months has been ranked as the 3rd fastest growing company in the nation? They have members in the company ranked in the top 8,000 money earners in the world. The company is over 2.5 years old. It's got good press all over the place. In fact, if you Google or YouTube it, you're not going to find any negative information about it. The company has debt-free. The company has 55 years of business experience. The company is offering product and services that everybody needs, they use, and that they can afford. You don't have to change anybody's buying habits. And whether you like Vital or not, guess what? Next month, you will pay for these bills. How would you like to hear about a company like that? You have an urchin's attention. Don't get it twisted. Just because I'm the opposite of an urchin, I know more facts than most urchins out there. I make it a point to know the facts. Later. See the key point there? Later. Because I know I'm going to be talking to urchins, so I must know the facts. But the facts is not holding me off from getting started. And here's a secret, and this is a deep secret. When the opportunity is right or the mind is right, the facts don't matter. The facts don't matter. Wealthy people are wealthy because they did something crazy, and they did it because nobody told them that it was crazy to do it. What? Well, what? Say that again. Wealthy people are wealthy because they did something crazy. And they did something crazy because nobody was there to tell them that it was crazy to do it. They didn't know it was crazy. They just did it. The facts didn't matter. How are you going to drop out of Harvard and start a computer company from your garage or your dorm room? The facts of the matter is that's impossible. Next thing you know, you're a billionaire. How are you going to start something called Facebook from your dorm room? And in a couple of years, you're a billionaire. The facts and the statistics state that that's impossible. But because he didn't believe it was possible, he didn't believe the facts, he is a billionaire. If you took a test 400 years ago and the question on the test was, is the earth flat or round? And you put round, you failed the test. Because the facts of that day was that the earth was flat. And the earth was the center of the galaxy. When the mind is right, the facts don't matter. I don't care about facts. I don't care about what somebody else has did. I'm going to make it happen. I'll be the first. That's my mindset. So know somebody's personality. You will know how to talk to them. Now, I promised last week that I would train on this because I didn't have time. I spent a lot of time on something else. We're going to talk about the feel, felt, found method. I learned this method from a gentleman named Steve Carter, who is the #1 money earner and top producer in a company called 5 Links. Before he was married to Pasha Carter, who was Pasha Oliver, who was also a regional vice president in that company, whose brother is Chris Oliver, who's a top producer in Organo Gold. See, I'm going to give you guys another hint. This is not a business for me. This is a profession. And in my profession, I want to be an expert. And as being an expert, I want to study the industry. I want to know about other top leaders out there. I want to know who they are, what they're doing, what company they're in, and what they did to get there. I'm going to a convention in March 1st through the 3rd, Association of Network Marketing Professionals. This is not an industry. This is a profession. I want to be in a room full of multi-millionaires. You may think I'm an RVP in Vital, but I will be a small fish in a huge pond at that convention. People who've made $25 million in their career. Henry Ford said something important. He said, you know what? If I were to lose all my money, the first thing I would do is go and hang out wherever rich people hang out. Why? Because of a word called vibration. There's that word again. So I'm going to go hang out with wealthy people in my industry. I want to know what makes them tick. I want to know, can I take something that they've done and implement it into my life? So I learned from Steve Carter. And he taught the feel, felt, found. My mouth dropped when I heard this for the first time. You know what he said? He said, when you're talking to somebody, you don't give them a drink of water with a fire hose and start throwing up all about your business on them. You need to learn to care about them. This is a people business. Yeah, we have the internet. Internet marketers fail at this. They're great at recruiting and horrible at keeping a team. They can't keep them longer than 60 days. But there's so many people out there that they just replace them. And it's like a revolving door. It's like throwing mud on the wall and seeing what sticks. You still have to develop the relationship. So when you have a conversation with a person, it may go like this. And you ask them questions. So what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm working a job right now. I'm an office manager. Really? You see yourself doing that 5 years from now? I hope, because I just got to notice that they want to make some cuts. They want to lay people off. And I'm scared to death. I'm the only breadwinner in my household. If I lose my job, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm too old to go back to school. I only have skills in this industry. And if my company's laying me off, my competitors are doing the same thing, so I'm not going to get hired anywhere else. I got to learn a new skill. I'm scared to death that this may happen. And you know what I will say? I understand exactly how you feel. At one point, I felt the same way. When I was working, here's a key thing I just said. When I was working a job, I got a notice that I was getting laid off too. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was scared to death. I understand what you're saying. I feel your pain. Who became president and that was his slogan? Bill Clinton. You know why? Because he could connect to people. Whereas George Bush seemed disconnected. Seemed like there's a scan. How does the scanner machine work at a grocery store? He was disconnected. Bill Clinton was able to connect. I feel your pain. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. It was oral sex, not real sex. Yeah, men could relate to that. He could connect. So you just built that connection with the person. Their barrier just dropped. And then you say, I felt the same way too. So now they understand that you feel exactly how they feel. But what I found out was that I got involved in this home-based business. Talk about a breath of fresh air. And I was able to walk off my job in 3.5 months. So I didn't even have to worry about not getting laid off. I'm so glad about that. Whew, I feel good. And then you shut up. First person who speaks loses. You know what they're saying because what's going on in their mind? This is what they're saying. Wow, if he or she had the same situation as me, but then they found a solution, maybe their solution can be my solution. This is what's going on in their brain. And the next thing they ask you, what is it that you do? What'd you do? I'm glad you asked. Ding, 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 got them. You felt their pain. You feel what they're saying. You felt their pain. You made a connection, and you showed them what you found out. Feel, felt, found. People like to buy. They don't like to be sold. I have enrolled over 117 people on my team, and only 6 or 7 of them that I actually go out of my way to talk about the business. Everybody else called me. Why? Because I made 1,000,001 videos talking about my background, my past. People relate to it, and I talk about my solution. What do I tell all of you? Make 3 videos. 1 video about you. Who are you? What's your background? What did you do for a living? Where are you at right now? Where do you want to be in the future? Do not mention your business. The second video, why did you join Vitel? Why did you join whatever business you're in? So now people can relate to you and they're seeing what you're doing. The third video, a presentation on your business. So now it looks like you know what you're talking about and you're branding yourself as a leader. That is called the feel, felt, found method. It will make you a millionaire if you master it. The only way you master this is by trial and error, not by me telling you about it. Me telling you about it is only enlightening you to a new skill. Now you need to go out there by trial and error and master it. And then train on it. The reason why I love doing trainings is because this is not my information that I am sharing with you. This is not stuff that I made up. This is stuff that I read about, I learned about, I experienced, my own experience, and I remind myself of things when I train on things. I'm training myself at the same time. It keeps things fresh in my own brain. That's why I love doing trainings. Yeah, I'm training you guys, but I'm also training myself again. And when you record it, here's a good thing, guys, you do. When you do a presentation and you record yourself, listen to yourself back. Your brain is responsive to your own voice because it hears your own voice in your head all the time. So you want to learn something real quick? I recorded myself reading The Science of Getting Rich, and I put it up on YouTube, and I listen to it at least once a week. Listening to my own voice, I learn more than if I'm listening to somebody else's voice. That's another trick of the brain. That is the feel, felt, found method I couldn't teach on last week. Positives up, negatives down. Pay close attention to what I'm about to say here. First things first, in business, you want to go positive down and negative up. Meaning if you have a downline, you always go positive to your downline. Things are always in a good position and getting better. When anything bad happens, it's just a situation that we will conquer and move forward. It is not the sky is falling. You never want to go down to your downline and let them see you sweat or let them believe that the sky is falling. Any issues you have, you go upline to. Upline, not downline. Now, the other positives up, negatives down is, in your life, concentrate on the positives and not the negatives. Try to think positively instead of negative. Is the glass half full or half empty? All of our lives, remember I said those neurotransmitters we have in our brain? They are so thick with negative thoughts, it's easy for us to think it. We do so without even knowing that we're doing it. It's like pushing a rock uphill when you decide, I need to start thinking positive. It's hard to do because you haven't been doing it. You're not used to doing it. It's like pushing that rock uphill. But the more you do it, eventually you start to push the rock downhill. And you don't have to push anymore. But you have to begin and you have to start. What do I mean by that? Well, you know what most people in business think about? Oh man, I don't want a loser on my team. I don't want an upline that doesn't know what they're doing. I don't want a downline who's not coachable. I don't want a downline who's doesn't want to show up to a presentation, who won't even, pick up the phone and call somebody. Isn't this what most people think about all the time? And I know it's true because I ask them, and this is what I hear. When I ask, what's going on in your business? All I hear is negative. Negative, 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 negative. Anything positive happen in your business? See, here's a positive. You actually picked up the phone and called somebody. That's a positive. Doesn't matter what the result of that call was. It's an experience. The more experiences you gain, the better you're going to get. Brandon, how can you talk so well like that? How come you know this stuff so well? Because I failed over and over and over again. I even recorded a video talking about my failures. I'm a failure. That's why I succeed. If you don't understand that, let me break it down home for you. We all know about a woman who's in an abusive relationship. She has always been in an abusive relationship, no matter what guy she is with. Think about it. We all know somebody like this. And you are to ask her, every boyfriend you have is like the same dude with a different name. Maybe you ever think that maybe you might be the problem? You might need to go get some help. The girl said, well, I'll check it out. Go see a psychiatrist or something. And the therapist says, let me ask you a question. This is where we start. What are you looking for in a man? What do you want in a man? What do you want in a relationship? Here's her response. Well, I don't want a man who drinks. I don't want a man who smokes. I don't want a man who stays up late, who hangs out with the boys, goes to the bars, flirting. I don't know what girls he's flirting with over there. Comes home, treats me like crap, verbally abuses me. I don't want a man who talks down to me in front of my kids, who makes me feel like dirt. So the therapist says, wow, that's interesting. Now, doesn't that sound correct? I mean, it is. I mean, who wants a man like that, right, ladies? No woman wants a man like that. But that's all she's thinking about. The universe does not understand negatives. The only thing in her brain, and this is the vibration that she's putting out there, is man who drinks, drugs, cheats on me, treats me bad, verbally and physically abuses me, stays out late, treats me like crap, disrespects me in front of my children, makes me cry. So because that's all she's thinking about, guess what she continues to attract to her? It's like a magnet. You will attract what you think about. It goes beyond that, because I'm starting to sound like The Secret, and that's not enough. Because people, well, I think about pretty girls all day. They're not coming to me. It's their emotional tie to it. Not only is she thinking about it, but she has an emotional feeling attached to those words. The brain doesn't understand the words. The brain understands the emotional feeling attached to it. And she will attract whoever is sending off those vibes like a magnet right to her. So the therapist says, instead, why don't you think about what you actually want? Think about, you want a man who loves you. You want a man who comes home at night. You want a man who treats you like a princess, a queen. You want a man who makes you smile, who makes you laugh. You want a man who loves your children. You want a man who will protect you, who will provide for you. See, this is very careful what you feed your brain. That's why you got to be careful what you watch on TV, the music you listen to, what you're exposed to. But if you have that constant on your brain, then you're going to start to attract that type of man. How many people have we always met and said, man, they just got a bad vibe to them. I just don't get a good vibe from them, right? Animals pick this up real quick. Put a serial killer in front of a killer dog and watch how quickly that dog backs down. Because the dog can pick up. That's a bad man right there. It's an alpha. The vibe you put out is what you're going to get. So you take it to your business. The first thing you need to do, let me go on to the next slide because this is the last slide of the night. Go into the bathroom, look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself this question. Would I sign up with you? And be honest. There's nobody there but you. If you lie to yourself, you are in bad shape. You can lie to the world, but you can't lie to yourself. Be honest with yourself. Would you sign up with you? If the answer is no, which it should be for most of you, it's okay. Doesn't mean you're bad. It means you're recognizing where you are right now. If the answer is no, the next question you ask is why? What is it that I'm looking for in a person that I want to sign up with? And if you are missing those traits, now you know what to focus on. Now you know what to work on to build for yourself. You want to become the person you want to recruit, that you want to work with. Or the type of person you want to recruit. Birds of a feather flock together. Losers do not hang out. Let me rephrase that. Winners don't hang out with losers. We give charity to losers. Somebody's going to be upset that I said that, but it is the truth. We don't hang out with you, but we'll give you a handout. You must see yourself as an RVP. Perception becomes reality. Perception is reality. Facts don't matter. Logic doesn't matter. Women know this. I am not being sexist when I say this, but women are more emotional than men and driven more by emotions than a man is. Where a man can be driven by logic and it doesn't work. Doesn't matter if you're right. Right? When I first started Vitel, I didn't see myself as a marketing rep or a team leader or an area sales manager. I saw myself at the top of the company. And I went beyond that. I saw myself as the owner of the company. Therefore, I treat this business like I own it. And things have happened because I think like that. Go back to my old videos and think, do I talk any differently then than I talk now? People say, well, my life's going to change when I become an RVP. I'll start talking different. I'll act differently. Things are going to start to happen. No, things start to happen when you believe that you are an RVP. This is not fake it till you make it. This is act as if. There's a difference. I don't believe in faking it till you make it. You're lying to the world. You need to act as if you're that person, and then it becomes a reality. And until you act as if, it will never become a reality. Oh, people might have some luck, and it happens. And when that happens, how can I say this without it going over someone's head? It's like the universe does things to balance out the way things are supposed to be. What do I mean? Who would love to have me in their downline? Not just that you're my sponsor, but I'm in your downline somewhere. Who would love to have somebody like me in your downline? If you're not prepared to handle that, you will self-destruct and lose me in your downline. And it has happened over and over again. See, one of the times when I like to join a company, I like to go as to the top as I can. But I joined under a good friend of mine that I've known for a very long time. I went to college with his brother. And he wasn't at the top of the company, front line. He had upline above him. And what ended up happening was we made their organization. We were their organization. And these clowns at the top, and I call them clowns. You talk about one of the biggest business mistakes you've ever made. And I like that, Lou. And this one joker in my upline, got so greedy about what was going on, and he had absolutely nothing to do with it. You know what he did? He went to another company and was like, look at my downline. You make a deal with me and I can bring my entire downline over here. With the promise that he could. He made the deal. Nobody followed because he had no influence. There's a difference between sitting on top of a large organization and having influence over that large organization. And nobody followed, and he lost everything. Don't you think somebody will learn their lesson? Another person did the exact same thing in our upline. And they're still harassing us to this day. I think he called Lou yesterday. Are you stupid? You're sitting on top of the 80% of the company is your downline, but the grass is greener somewhere else. It's like that old Tom and Jerry cartoon I used to watch where this dog loved these bones, right? And he had this bone, and he looked over to the neighbor's yard and another dog who had a whole lot of bones. So you know what the dog did? Left the bone he had ran over to get all these other bones, and in the process lost everything. Why did this happen to them? Self-destruction. Because they didn't do the work necessary to build it. Therefore, they didn't learn the skills necessary and the discipline to keep it. It's like a lottery winner. Why do 70% of lottery winners go broke after 10 years? And why do most of them say that they wish they never won the lottery? That their life was better before they won the lottery? Most people don't understand that. What do you mean your life was better before you won the lottery? You won $80 million. You can live life however you want. Here's the problem. Since they didn't develop the skills necessary, they now have $80 million and a broke mindset and a broke work ethic. And all that money did was accelerated their broke mindset and their broke work ethic, and they burned through the money faster than you can count to 10. And they end up in debt or worse. Because they didn't know the skills on how to keep it. Same thing in this business. I guarantee if you hit National Sales Executive RVP, and it might have happened as a fluke, might be seen as lucky, the universe will work itself out where you will not be able to keep it. I'm sorry to say it's a natural law. I don't have time to explain why. If you have a superstar join your team and you're not a superstar, and you refuse to develop yourself into a superstar, eventually you will lose it all. I say you will lose it all. This has happened multiple times with our own upline. Like Lou said, all they had to do was sit down, shut up, cash their checks, and work on their own personal development. Oh no. They self-destructed. I have leaders on my team that's done that as well. Self-destruct. You must see yourself and act as if. When I go to this convention in March in Dallas, Texas, and I would encourage anybody who can go. It has nothing to do about your business. It all has to do about networking and meeting other people who are successful, learning about them, being in a room with them, getting that vibe from them. I guarantee you I'm going to walk in there like I own the place. Yeah, I might be the smallest fish there, but I'm going to act like I own the freaking place. Because as far as I consider it, one day I will. All right? One day they're going to invite me to be on that stage to talk and tell my story. Because I'm going to be a multi-million-dollar earner in the industry. You have to have that belief in your brain. Let me just, I don't have the link on this computer. It is, wait. I got my other computer up and running. Let's see. Go to let me just type it. www.anmp.eventbrite.com. Association of Network Marketing Professionals. I encourage you to be there. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we have come up at the end of my time. There's a whole lot. I can talk for another 8 hours. But this is on mindset. And we're going to do it again next week. And what did I tell you guys last week? We may go through the same slides, but I never do the same training twice. It's just, I don't have a script in front of me. It's just off of experience. And something, I'll think about something else that happened, and hey, maybe I need to talk about this one. And I recorded this. There's no guarantee that I'm going to be able to upload this the right way, but I'm going to try. And I refrained from ever doing that in the past, but I'm going to do it this time and see what happens. But thank you guys for taking time out of your schedule. The information that I taught tonight is the fuel that burns my business. This is the secret. Not, let me become an expert at three-way calls. Let me become an expert at inviting people to presentations. That's all. You need to know that stuff. Don't get me wrong. But this is the most important stuff. Last week I talked about that magnifying glass. I talked about my aha moment. I don't have time tonight. But out of 5,000 people on the team on a Saturday night, only 50 people can show up to get this type of information. That's why only 1% of the people run the planet. Not because the opportunity is not there, it's because most people aren't willing to get it. And those of you that are willing to take time out of your schedule to get it, congratulations. You set yourself apart from everybody else. You're not there yet. Now you need to put it into action. So thank you guys for joining us. My name is Brandon Ivery, Regional Vice President with Vitel. This was my pleasure, your pleasure. It was more of my pleasure training for you guys. Now that you know, if you think that this is of value, get with your teams and let them know they need to be on this next week. God bless and good night. Bye-bye. I got a video to play, so don't run off. I got a video to play.
Wrote myself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, and I gave myself 5 years, or 3 years maybe, and I dated it Thanksgiving 1995, and I put it in my wallet and I kept it there, and it deteriorated and stuff, but then just before Thanksgiving 1995, I found out that I was going to make $10 million on, I think it was Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber, yeah.
When a seed is planted in the ground, all you can do is water it. You cannot control the sunshine, you cannot control the weather, and you cannot control what the locusts will come and try and destroy it. All you can do is plant your seed in the ground, water it, and believe. That is what allowed me to be in this position right now. I would not stop believing.
If you believe in what you're doing, many people will tell you, why you're mistaken, why it'll never work. But if you really believe passionately in what you're doing, just keep going, keep pushing on, and then if you don't succeed, pick yourself up and try again, and ultimately, if you're that determined, you will succeed in life.
This is a major opportunity. This is a major lifetime event for you. In all of the years that I've been doing this, only one person has left. I've been amazed that there's only been one person, because some people, and sometimes you really suffer. It's very tough.
People say you have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing, and it's totally true. And the reason is because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard, and you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it, you don't really love it, you're going to give up. And that's what happens to most people, actually. If you really look at the ones that ended up being successful, unquote, in the eyes of society and the ones that didn't. Oftentimes, it's the ones that are successful loved what they did so they could persevere when it got really tough. And the ones that didn't love it quit because they're sane, right? Who would want to put up with this stuff if you don't love it? So it's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of worrying constantly. And if you don't love it, you're going to fail.
Make a choice, right? You just decide what it's going to be, who you're going to be, how you're going to do it. Just decide. And then from that point, the universe is going to get out your way.
Because it's only about 1% of people have the ability to really take risks, entrepreneurial risks. 99% of the population can work for a business once it's established. Only 1% have the courage and the ability to actually make the entrepreneurial breakthroughs that create those jobs.
Somebody said to me, what did you learn from your father? And what I learned from my father is that work can make you happy. It really can make you happy. But you have to love what you do.
You're meeting your must, my friends. Maybe it's time to change your must. Some people's must is to survive. Some people's must is to be okay. Some people's must is to have freedom. Some people's must is to have more than they can possibly spend. Some people's must is to take care of everybody around them. Whatever your must is, you're going to get it. Think how your life will be different if you raise the standard of what you expected from yourself, not your people, yourself, to that level. How things could shift. It's all about changing your shoulds to musts. It's all about going back and saying, this is how it's going to be.
I have an unfair advantage, I went to war. And at war, I'm alive because other guys died for me. When you see stuff like that, how can I quit? Most guys are just wimps, pussies, cowards. They don't have it.
In the beginning, we went to every single label, and every single label shut their door on us. The genius thing that we did was we didn't give up.
The guy who is willing to hustle the most is going to be the guy that just gets that loose ball.
Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you got to be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.